Hey, it's Pastor Kerry, and welcome to Session 2 of the Life Group Study, The Case for Miracles. And of course, it's based on this best-selling book by our teaching pastor, Lee Strobel, The Case for Miracles, and all the study notes and our Life Group Study Guide is in the back of the book. So Lee's going to be teaching you in just a few moments, and he's going to be talking about this case for miracles and how God still works miracles today. And I really do encourage you after each session to pray together. Just pray together and first ask for prayer requests. And maybe someone in your group really needs a miracle in their health, a miracle in their finances, a miracle at work, a miracle in their family, or in a relationship, or in their marriage. And so I really encourage you to say, does anyone have prayer requests? And then just pray for them. Pray for a miracle. Maybe even write down the prayers you have in your group and the miracles that you're praying for, and watch God work and let God do His work in His way. God is amazing, and He still does miracles today. And then I also encourage you that if you're enjoying your life group and this 5-week study, think about continuing it on after the 5 weeks. And we have so many great curriculums and studies that you can go through. And I really encourage you. In fact, in the next session, next week, our life group pastor, Chris Van Houten, is going to tell you about some of the curriculums that you could do, some of the studies, the life group studies that you can do after you finish the Case for Miracles. So, well, here's Lee. Enjoy the great teaching and expect a miracle.
Hi, I'm Lee Strobel. Welcome back as we're talking about the Case for Miracles. In this next section of the book, the second section that we have, I interviewed Dr. Craig Keener. I really look forward to this interview. I traveled to Asbury, Kentucky, where he's a professor at Asbury Seminary, and sat down with him for a day in his home to talk about his case for miracles. And the thing about Dr. Keener you need to know is, first of all, he is one of the sweetest, most devout followers of Jesus I've ever met in the area of scholarship. So in other words, he's a terrific scholar, but he's also a very devout follower of Christ. And he's married to a woman from Africa. And so he often and his wife will speak on racial issues and from their perspective as an interracial couple. He's actually ordained in a denomination that's primarily African Americans. So he has a big heart toward all people and a big heart toward reconciliation and toward strong relationships between the races. So I appreciate that about him. But the thing I appreciate the most is, he wrote a 2-volume work on miracles that is absolutely fabulous. Scholars have just said how wonderful, how accurate, how profound his 2-volume set on miracles really is. And it really is. And he recounts in that book, and then he allows me to interview him about dozens of cases where he has researched these miracles and found that we have well-documented examples of God intervening in people's lives and doing absolutely remarkable things, often healing people in a way that cannot be explained away other than to say, this was a miracle of God. And he's the one who told me first about Barbara Snyder, the woman I talked about in my message at the church on Palm Sunday about miracles, who was healed in a miraculous way of multiple sclerosis. And I actually went to interview Barbara, spent a lot of time with her to get her story firsthand. Remarkable case, and it just reminds us of the love and grace and power of God when He intervenes to heal someone of a condition like hers, where she was on her deathbed and in hospice, and everybody had pretty much given up hope, but God hadn't given up hope. God was still there for her and chose to heal her. I asked her later, I said, Barbara, why did God heal you and not others? And she said she didn't know, which is legit. I understand that. But I want to tell you something about Barbara. I don't think this is in the book. I can't remember if I put it in or not, and I didn't mention it during the sermon I did. But here was Barbara, curled up like a pretzel, her body ravaged by multiple sclerosis, lying in bed, but her mind was perfectly clear. And so she was a Christian, and she said to herself, what can I do to serve God, even though I'm curled up like a pretzel in bed and on my deathbed? And so she thought, you know what, I can pray. And so interestingly, for 2 years, while Barbara was pretty much an invalid because of her MS, she had a prayer ministry. And people would bring her prayer requests, and she would lay there in bed, and people would see her not moving because she was pretty much immobile. But her mind was moving, and she was praying to God, and she was lifting up other people who were suffering, not herself. She was lifting up other people who were going through struggles and praying that God would miraculously heal them and ease their pain and encourage them. And I don't know if that was a factor in why God chose to heal Barbara. I don't know. I don't know the mind of God. I just know what a wonderful, sweet, kind, generous gesture it was for this woman, despite her own suffering, to say, I'm going to spend my time praying for other people. And I think there's a lesson there for all of us, that sometimes we get wrapped up in our own problems, our own worries, our own situations. And I think God would like us sometimes to break free of that and to focus on other people and to put their needs first and to pray for them. And I wonder, and this is just me, I wonder if God was just saying when he healed Barbara, you know, Barbara, you have been so faithful in praying for other people. I'm going to answer other people's prayers for you and heal you in a miraculous way. I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe that helps explain why Barbara was healed and some other people aren't. But I hope in Dr. Keener's chapters, and again, I use 3 chapters to counteract the 3 chapters I'd done with Dr. Shermer, the skeptic. I hope you'll allow him in your heart and in your head to build the case for miracles, to give examples of God's miraculous action in the world that is inexplicable apart from the supernatural work of God. I hope you walk away from these chapters encouraged in your faith and committed to praying for others whose situation may seem hopeless, but we serve a God of hope and of grace and of strength and of love and of power. I'll see you next time.